done with the initialization state where we have taken the input and launched the website. If it was successful, then it will move on to the get transaction data state. Else if we encounter any error, it will lead to end process state and it will stop. Assuming that it was successful and we have the input from the user in recipe variable, right? So it has to be assigned to transaction data. Let's change it to string and save it. So we will be able to mold the RE framework as per our requirements. Now what I will do is I will go back to this and will try to assign that recipe, okay, to this particular transaction data which can be taken forward. Once that is done, I'm moving on to this. Now there are a lot of errors that we will get when we try to change the data type of any variable inside this. No worries on that, we'll be able to figure out the solution for that. Just open this. We know that this particular state, whatever we can see, get transaction data state, is responsible for sending the items one by one. But in this particular project, we are trying to build a linear RE framework structure, so we will only have one record with us. So here, this is of no use to us because we are not using orchestrator. You can delete it, and here you can remove it and write your own expression. In transaction number is equal to 1. We know that in main file the transaction number is assigned a default value of 1, and that will be passed on to this particular XAML here as an in argument. This is being passed to this variable which is available in this. When this is equal to 1, as it is, go and perform few actions. What are those actions? Just take an assign and out transaction item equal to IO transaction data. There is an error that we can see. Encounter data table cannot be converted to queue item. We have already changed the transaction data type to string here, but we have to make some changes. Okay, always it happens always that we have to be changing the data types of this when we are changing the input. So this will become string because our input is string, and then if I just come here, this is also string because we are passing string over here. See, there are no errors right now. If I just go back to main and click on this, few fields have been removed. We have to be passing them again. Transaction item here, and then transaction data here. Still there is an error because we have to be changing the value of transaction item here also. Just take care of this particular data type issues and that would be fine. What we have done right now is, because our output from this particular initialization state is string, which we have to pass on to the other XAMLs available or other states available, we have to change some inbuilt functionalities in this particular RE framework. So in this stage, we are going to this particular file. In this particular file, we are trying to run this particular flow only for the first transaction because we only have one. We have assigned one. When it is true, it will assign the transaction data, which is nothing but the variable which is having the recipe value in it. It will be assigned to the transaction item now. Now we have the item or the data or the recipe value in this particular transaction item. Okay, what if it is not 1 or it is other than 1. Go right here and type transaction item equal to nothing. Okay, so that's done. When it is nothing, it will go over there and it will fail. Once that is done, when we have nothing, so it will go around this. If there is no nothing, it will go to end process and it will end. But for the first transaction, we'll be having value. Let's go here. Transaction value is nothing. Just cut it and then paste it. It should be fine here. Okay. So there are no errors right now. Let's see what's happening here when I just run it. For that to work, we have to remove the validations over here. Sorry, I'm disabling it. There is another file that we have to disable. Disabled. Let's see if there are any more validation errors. No errors. Fine. Let me put a breakpoint right here. Here and see what happens. It has come here. We will just click on continue. It is asking for an input. Select fruits and then apple. Okay, it will try to launch the website. Open website. We have reached the transaction state. Just click on step into. It is moving on to that particular XAML where we have made the changes. Here the condition should be true for the first time and is trying to assign the value which is available in transaction data to this particular out transaction item. This is null right now. Where is this value? As you can see, this is null right now, but as soon as I click step into, there is a value in it. See, out transaction item has got a value in it. It's moving out of that particular XAML. It has come out. And because it is not nothing, it will try to proceed and go into the next state available, which is process transaction. But once it is processed, it will directly move on to this, but this time the transaction number will be 2 because this condition will fail to satisfy. 2 is not equal to 1, so it will go to the nothing, and from there, because if it has no data, if it is nothing, then it will come and will end the process. That was about the get transaction data state mechanism.